Hi guys, Luton here, and I'm back for some more Battlefield 4 preppers today. This is a series where I think about tactics and skills that you can look at now to improve and get ready for Battlefield 4. Now today we're looking at covering the flanks. Now this is again a basic element of the game. If you've got too many people near you and you're defending, spread out, because if you don't spread out you can't cover your base properly, and also you should try and learn to jump over pipes so that you don't get stuck behind grates. But anyway, we're moving in here on the second base on Carg Island. We have had some resistance, but we've cleared it on the way and it's not been too particularly strong. The teams are even at this time, but we're still clearing our way through, and you can see that this guy right here, it's a good example of why you shouldn't be too far out from your objective. So actually we're getting two lessons today, one about flanking and one about staying within a reasonable distance of your objective, and that comes into the golden circle routine, which I will cover in another video. I've been waiting to do that for a long time now. People are going to be saying, you've been mentioning this for like a year, you should get on with it already. Yeah, I'll make that video. In fact, I'll start thinking about it pretty soon. But flanking, as we know, flanking is probably one of the most useful tools in Battlefield. It's probably one of the most useful tools in many games, but it's very useful for objective game modes to be able to get around. Flanking basically means moving out and around your enemy and then attacking from the side or the rear to catch them off guard, or, you know, clear out enemies that have been dug in basically. And you can see right here that we didn't really do any real flanking right here. It wasn't necessary. The defending team were distributed all over the place. They were too far up, they were too far behind. They basically weren't covering the objective particularly well. Now we skipped the third base because again they didn't really give enough of a defense there. We just rolled in real hard, took them down, and they tried to put some defense up. We did have a bit of firefight, but again the power of momentum there, we just rolled in with the tanks, smashed them to pieces and took those bases. Now rolling in onto the last base here, and although it's the very beginning of this last section, I am already starting to flank and move around. I'm the only person on my team apart from this guy right here who moves up and around. He's bringing one of the vehicles around, the tanks around, and flanking is such an amazingly good tactic. Now the trouble is it requires a lot of discipline to sort of stand away from your team and possibly cover areas where nothing is going on, but it's an important discipline to have, and if you're working well as a team you will cover these areas. And you can see there's a guy right there. I don't want to engage him, and this is one of the things to do when flanking, is you don't want to be engaging every target you see, because if you do it's going to give the game away. Now I get onto this guy right here, help the tank take him down, because I'm already pretty much at the objective. It doesn't really matter to take one guy at this far, this far up, because it's a reasonable chance I'm going to be spotted anyway. But I'm running straight in here on the base, and look, this is a fantastic example of a defending team which has just left a whole section of the map wide open. It's incredibly bad, and it's almost a guaranteed recipe for failure. If you don't have anybody spread out covering those flanks, you're just inviting a loss, okay? You're just inviting complete catastrophe. It requires one or two people to have a little bit of discipline, a little bit of forethought, and think, hey, we got like 10 guys here on the left hand side. There seems to, you've got to think as if you were the attacker. This is the way I always try to think of it, is put yourself in the attacker's position. If you saw the majority of your team like right here at the front of the base, what would you be doing? Would you think, hey, yeah, I'm going to join them? Or as an attacker, would you think, hey, they got a lot of people down there, I'm going to take this opportunity to flank around? And that's so two ways to look at it. One, make sure you're disciplined enough to cover that flank, but also put yourself in the mind of your enemy. If you were in that situation, how would you play it out? And then think, okay, well in that case I need to put myself in a position where I would be able to counter myself. So that's really the way to play it, guys. It applies to a lot of situations, this, and a lot of times where flanking is going to happen. Think about the bases as well. Is it the kind of base that always plays out in a kind of bottleneck firefight way, or is it the kind of base where people flank very often? Think about bases like, I don't know, the second base on Carg Island. Great example there. Thanks for watching, guys. If you've enjoyed it, like as always, see you next time for more preppers.